Introduction to Revenue Management. So what is revenue management? Revenue management, for short RM, also known as yield management, is both the science and the art of enhancing firm revenues from a fixed supply. It's the science because we will be using the model, but it's also an art because we have to be very creative in how we approach this problem, especially for new industries and new types of products. So essentially, we want to increase the revenue while we're selling the same amount of product, right? So this is basically, in other words, an idea where if we can't adjust supply because it is rigid, it is fixed, or maybe it's hard to adjust or it's impossible, then we try to adjust demand by appropriate pricing. The main idea is to try and segment customers into those who have high willingness to pay and those who have lower willingness to pay. We may have two customer segments or several, right? More than two. And when we have this, we try to offer different products that are all based on the same fixed supply at different prices. And with that, we can try and charge higher prices to those who can pay those higher prices, and then the others can pay lower prices. The examples of fixed supply where revenue management is very useful are many. Some of them, or a lot of them, are in travel industries. For example, in air flights, or hotel rooms or cars in car rentals. The idea here is that if you have a fixed supply, for example, you have already scheduled a number of planes to fly on a number of connections, you have a number of seats that either will be occupied or empty. And so you would like to sell them and maximize the revenue you obtain from those seats that will be there, will be, there will be flights with a number of seats. Perhaps it's not possible or not easy to change the type of plane that will be serving a particular connection. And so a lot of the time you have a fixed number of seats that are available and that will fly empty or full. They have to fly. So we try to maximize the amount of revenue we can obtain from those from this fixed capacity. In hotels, it's even more obvious, right? You have a hotel with a number of rooms, and those rooms, if they are not occupied, this capacity is forever lost, right? So again, the problem here is to try and obtain the highest possible revenue from the fixed capacity, which is the hotels that are available on a number of days or nights, right? And I hope it is clear that if the hotel room is empty, let's say hotel rooms that were empty yesterday, is a capacity that is forever lost. So this is what we mean by rigid. It cannot be somehow stored for future use. Similar in car rental, right? If you have a number of cars to rent, if you don't rent a car, the car that wasn't rented yesterday is a capacity forever lost. All these industries, by the way, have a very specific cost structure that the majority of their costs are fixed costs and variable costs are very small. So, for example, for an aircraft, if an aircraft is flying, it's already, the cost is, or maybe not fixed, but sunk. It is already paid. It will be paid whether we sell all the seats or just half of the seats, right? So the variable cost of each seat is actually very small. We have an extra meal, maybe some small costs related to the airport, but the majority of the cost is already sunk when the decision to schedule a plane is made. Similar things we can observe in advertising, where the time slots, for example, to air advertisements on TV, there is a fixed number of them, and we have to again maximize revenue that we obtain from them. If they are not utilized, then this capacity is lost. Telecommunications bandwidth, the same thing. If you have lines, connections that are physically built, and then this bandwidth is available. If it is not used, right, it is lost, and the available capacity is limited at any point in time. We can actually see many other examples like doctors' availability for appointments. Again, if you have appointment slots that are not utilized on some days, then again, this capacity will be lost. So all of those are examples of fixed supply where revenue management can give us some opportunity to increase the revenue collected based on this fixed supply.